Okay, I think we are live. I'll just wait to see if he'll join stuff and if it's working. Oh, don't want that. Okie dokie. Let's just find it. There we go. We have Harry Scott in the chat. Hello, Harry Scott. Just bear with me a second while I make sure everything is working. Let's see how many people we have. Zombie Army Fan, hello. I've lost the page just a minute. It shows me all the stuff I want to be seeing. Where's it gone? Oh, there it is. Yes. We have got Lucas Skirko. I think I've said that right. Hello. DST 2021. Toby Harris. Hello. Pipsy Productions. So, I will just give it another minute or so. Just to let people come in, check everything's working properly. It should be. But yeah, so this stream is basically going to be, if you watched the one I did last week, which was like an impromptu thing, it's going to be the same idea as that again, but for the finale of Flux, the Vanquishers, which I haven't covered on the channel so far this week in speculation videos or theory videos or whatever, synopsis analysis, cast list analysis, anything like that, as I have done in previous weeks. Because basically, the start of this week, just gone on Monday, the power went from this room and from the house. So that put a spanner in the works as far as YouTube was concerned. Thankfully, I have survived, but it made it a bit difficult to make YouTube videos because I wasn't able to use this space as I usually would. So that's basically why it's been a bit quieter this week on the channel than it might otherwise have been. So I thought I'd just do this instead, just to have a little live stream instead of the usual speculation videos to sort of hype up the finale and to, just have a bit of speculation, a bit of theories and rumours and all that sort of stuff, discussing what might happen with you guys watching with me as well, suggesting your own ideas and stuff and the interaction, which is always great to have. And we can just discuss together what might happen tomorrow. We'll look at the promo pics. We will sort of consider every character that's going to be in the episode and sort of how their stories might end, because obviously we've got a lot of recurring characters in the series, and in this episode, like most of the cast is made up of recurring characters from the series. So we'll be looking at each of the characters and sort of thinking about how their story might end. Are any of them going to die? How are their arcs going to sort of resolve themselves? Like with Belle and Vinda, clearly they're going to like have a reunion and be reunited and hug each other and stuff. And be very happy to see each other again. With other characters, it's less clear. Like Diane, what's going to happen there? Presumably she's going to escape from Passenger, but presumably as well her relationship with Dan. Like he's not going to be sort of tied down to her to stay on Earth, because he's in the specials as well. He's going to be still travelling with the Doctor, so perhaps there's a bit more to come of that relationship in the specials. Perhaps they don't just sort of go and get married straight away or whatever. But anyway, we will be covering all of that in more detail further into the stream. And I will switch now to my other view. There we go. So yeah, we'll be looking at these promo pics and stuff. No idea why that one of Roshanda Sandal is there as your or Anna or whatever. No idea why that's there, but anyway, we'll be looking at those, and then in the second half of the stream we will be moving on to this lovely thing, the Doctor Who site merchandise guide interactive Christmas wish list, which if you are a follower of this site, and if you're not, by the way, you should be, because it's like the place to go to for merchandise news. But if you're a follower of the site, you'll know that in previous years they've always done this wishlist thing for Christmas, where they basically add all the products that have been released in recent months and across the year, and then you can sort of pick the ones you want and print it out on a wish list or whatever and hand it to your parents and sort of cross your fingers or whatever. And they've been doing that since like 2010, I think. There's a comment from me. I was so pleased to see it back, so I left a comment. But yeah, they've been doing it since 2010. And then last year, for whatever reason, they didn't do one. I think just because, as it says down here somewhere, the dates were so unreliable due to COVID. So, they just decided not to do it. The people who run the site, that is. But yeah, they've brought it back for this year. It's here. It's fantastic. It's so nostalgic for me. And so I thought, because I have sort of filled it in once already on my phone, but not on the computer. So I thought what we could do is flick through all of these bits and pieces. I could fill it in as I go through, as I talk. And you guys as well could also fill in the list and discuss the items that you would like to get for Christmas as well, in an ideal world. I've put the link to this in the description. I'll put it in the chat as well so that everybody can access it. But that'll be for the second half of the stream. We'll also perhaps talk about these new B&M sets as well, which have been just like appearing out of nowhere this weekend after being scheduled for mid-October, not arriving at all, and then suddenly they've appeared. So I'll just turn my attention to the chat very quickly to see what's going on. I'll put this list here in advance, the link, in advance for everybody. What have we got going on here? Ben Miller, who would you cast as the Rani in the revival era of Doctor Who? And by the way, please do put your questions and stuff in the chat. I will answer them where I can, and all your thoughts and theories and stuff. So, the Rani. Well, the thing is, it's quite handy actually that this photo's here, because when I first saw this, I thought, yeah, Rani. She's the Rani. Obviously, she wasn't the Rani. Obviously, she was Azure instead. But yeah, I think Rashanda Sandal would have been a great Rani based on like some photos I've seen of her. And obviously, she's been in Line of Duty as well. She has that sort of edge to her, that sort of history of playing villains. Obviously, she played a villain in Doctor Who now in Flux, but she would have been good. But otherwise, help. I don't know. I think someone else like that, who's got that history of playing a slightly morally dubious role, so someone in that vein, I suppose. Obviously not her now, because she's been Azure instead. We have got in the chat, let's just have a look. Jack Bolter, hello. Jack Bolter is currently rewatching Survivors of the Flux. Very nice. And watching the stream as well. Multitasking. 2 million like head, hello. Alex Rooney, hello. Tom Mason, sorry. Hello. You're talking about Flux in the chat. Pre-Flux. Yeah, I see what you mean. About this stream, it should be called Pre-Flux. Jack Bolter is asking about the New Year's Dalek special. What do I think it will be called? And do I think Davros will be in it? I don't know, really. I mean, we haven't even had confirmation that the Daleks are in it yet. I know that, I think based on like the filming, obviously they were at filming, and people sort of assumed because of the dates and because of what was being filmed at that time that it was for the New Year's Day episode, and obviously as well because we've had New Year's Day Dalek specials in the past. So I guess it makes sense to assume that they are in it, but it hasn't been officially confirmed. But assuming they are, first of all, it'd be really weird and interesting to see how they fit into everything else that's going on with like whatever else is going on with this elf storage unit, and like a woman who's in charge of the unit, and I think a bloke who's like using one of the storage units and he finds something in it, and so some weird details about that story that have been released so far. Very vague, not particularly helpful. But yeah, assuming the Daleks are in it, what was the question? What do I think it'll be called? Something of the Daleks. Storage of the Daleks. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know really. But as for Davros, I would love to see Davros in it. I would love to think that Chris Chibnall, thinking to himself, his thought process in his own head, will be going, okay, I've got one last Dalek story. I've got, this final set of specials. I'm leaving the show. I'm not going to leave the show without having given Davros a go. Because obviously, he's done the Master, done the Daleks, Cybermen, everything else, Sontarans. Davros is sort of one of the last big bads on the checklist that he could tick off. And yeah, I would like to think that he wouldn't leave the show without having done that, without having ticked that off his bucket list, if you like. So I'd love to see Davros in it. Either played by Julian Bleach or someone else. I think it would be cool to see a sort of like Davros with the new Dalek, like the new defense drone or recon Dalek sort of style of Davros. But that's probably not going to happen because they're bringing the bronze Daleks back again, and like the defense drones and recon Daleks, they're only ever one-offs. They're not the new status quo. But nevertheless, I think like particularly that defense drone skirts with Davros as the top half, or like some people suggested as well at the time that Revolution of the Daleks was on, that Jack Robertson could become like not actual Davros, but like an equivalent of Davros. And I wouldn't say no to that, to be honest. Like him in one of the defense drone skirts would be pretty cool, and like maybe with some scarring on his face or something as well. Like he disfigurement or whatever. He sort of, I don't know, like experiments on himself or something, or merged with the Daleks. But yeah, that's what I think on that. I'd love to see Davros again. I don't know whether we will. I'm sort of 50-50 here. It would have made sense really to put him in Revolution of the Daleks. On the one hand, because like that bit where Robertson's like, take me to your leader, to the Death Squad Daleks, that would make sense for him to be there. But then again, I get that there was so much going on in that story as well, that to put Davros in there would have, he wouldn't have been able to have the space to breathe, in that story that he might otherwise have had. So I get why they haven't used him so far. I would hope that there is a place for him yet to come. Very long, drawn out answer there. But let's just quickly tend to the other bits and pieces in the chat before moving on to the finale, which is what we're here to talk about, really, and then Christmas. So let's have a look. We have got Alex Rooney. Alex Rooney is quite concerned about how this story is going to wrap up because there are so many different plot threads. Yeah, I get that. I sort of have confidence that it'll be okay, I think people will complain whatever happens. They'll say, oh, this wasn't dealt as much time and attention as it should have been. It's inevitable that some things are not going to get developed as much as others. Just thinking like about Professor Jericho, for example. He's not had that much development already as it is, and so I can't see him getting a massive arc. We've seen him wielding a gun in one of the promo pics, so I don't know, maybe he'll have like a heroic moment and save the day or something. But with all these side characters, they're ultimately, they're here along for the ride, basically. Like all these characters, like I could list them probably, like Joseph Williamson, Jericho, Claire I think is back, Claire Brown in this episode as well, in some form, not sure how. We've got Yaz and Dan, obviously that's 5 up to already. We've got Kate Stewart at 6. Is there anybody else in terms of the good guys at least? I think that's the main ones. Carvanista as well, 7. Oh, and then Vinder and Bell, of course, that's up to 9. Add the Doctor into that's 10. So, you get what I'm saying here. Yeah. I don't know. I think, some of it might carry over to the specials as well. It's worth saying. But also I think, I don't think we should get too hung up over the fact, basically, that, if some of those don't get as developed as they might have been, if it was like the Professor Jericho show or whatever, if he was like the star of the show, or it goes for all these characters. Diane as well, just thought of another one who's in there as well. They've all got to sort of get wrapped up to a certain extent, but, I don't know. Let's see what else is going on in the chat. Gary Wickersham, hello. Just Joe, 98, hello. J Dragon Arc Productions, hello. All J Dragon Arc Productions wants for Christmas is for a Marinus set to show up in Scotland, the B&M sets. Oh, I hope that happens for you. Let's have a look. Tom Mason, what camera and microphone are you using for this stream? So for the microphone, it's the Blue Yeti microphone, which I use for everything. This, let me see, there we go. The camera is just like my webcam on my computer. For this, let's have a quick look. Let's move the microphone actually so I can see what's happening. slightly off topic. Richard, who would you like to see as the 14th Doctor? And have your thoughts ever changed from the radio interviews you did a while back? I've personally always thought that Emma Thompson would be a fabulous Doctor, and I do realise that she's too big a name at this point. Would love to see her in some smaller role or in one of the upcoming specials. Yes, I agree with that, actually. I think she'd be great. She's too big, probably, but you never know. I mean, Russell T Davies got her in Years and Years. She would be really good. But probably too big, really, realistically. But have my thoughts changed? So, the radio interviews, that's basically when the news broke about the 13th Doctor leaving, about Jodie leaving, if you don't know. Randomly, some local radio stations got in touch to see what I had to say about it. And I said at the time, and elsewhere as well, possibly in other videos and things, that I think they should go for a slightly older female next, for the next Doctor. Which, of course, Emma Thompson would fit that bill, as you suggested, Lucas. And yeah, I haven't really changed from that perspective, no. It's a very sort of broad and vague and obvious answer, but clearly if they go for another woman, it's going to be either older than Jodie or younger than Jodie. I mean, of course it's going to be. I don't think they'll go for someone that's like the same age or a similar age to Jodie. Probably. They probably will go either higher or lower, I think. I'd be open for either, really. I think I would err on the side of like an older woman as the Doctor, because I feel like that would be really cool, to be honest, like really badass, have like an adventuress or someone in a long coat or whatever, or just, I don't know, someone with a bit more authority, like natural authority or wisdom or whatever. That comes with age. I'm not saying that the 13th Doctor doesn't have those what do I call it? Those attributes. But yeah, at the same time, just something different to her, basically. Yeah, different would be good. What else have we got? Just very, 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 very quickly. Quantum Visuals. Hello. Alex Rooney has been scoring a 4-minute battle sequence with pretty much every villain theme from this era, I'd assume that is, and 13's theme and Ruth's theme. That's fantastic. I'd love to hear that. Very, very cool. DW Boy 14, have you got any of the collection box sets? I have 17, 18 and 24. 17? That's not out yet. You can't have that yet. You mean you've pre-ordered it? Okay, I'll give you that. I've got all of the ones that have been released in the original editions of them. Don't need the standard ones, because why would I need both? But yeah, just been getting them as they've been released, really. I missed out on Season 12 initially because I wasn't into Blu-rays and stuff back when that came out. But then by the time that Season 19 came out, I was into Blu-rays. So I've picked them all up on release since then. And then I got the second edition of Season 12. That's how that happened. So I think we will leave it there for that first part of the stream. Let's move on now to the Vanquishers. So I want to be hearing your thoughts and theories for this story in the chat. Love to hear what you've got to say. Let's just throw everything at this. It's the one opportunity, 24 hours before the episode begins, to just literally throw every theory and rumour just out into the open and discuss it and see what we've got to say about all of this. So I guess let's just begin by going through the promo picks in order. So we have the Doctor here with the Ood from last time. I was wondering actually if this is a slightly different room to the division room we saw last time with Tactaeon. These details, the hanging baskets and things. Oh, lost it. There. I don't remember seeing them before, like hanging down from the along the walls and stuff. But maybe that's just me. But yeah, whatever the case, we are still in that space, or within like a similar sort of space. And let's move on to the Ood. I was wondering with this guy, right? Have we got a bit of a Chekhov's gun situation going off with the Ood? If you don't know what I'm talking about there, basically the idea that, nothing is placed by accident in a story and a plot. That's what Chekhov's gun refers to. This idea that, things are put there deliberately, like a gun is put there deliberately in the first act or whatever, so that it can be fired by Act 3. That's the general sort of gist of that. So, with this Ood, I was kind of thinking to myself, okay, he's still kicking around. They didn't kill him off in the last episode. They could have very easily killed him off. Or it, I should probably say, actually. I don't want to assume his gender. The Ood. So, I just wondered to myself, there's two options here, Okay, it could just be like a side character who literally has nothing else to do with the story, and just like gets left in the background for the whole episode, and maybe like contributes nothing to the plot, and it's just there for fans to go, oh yeah, it's an Ood. It could just be that, or it could be like that this Ood is really integral to the eventual resolution of the whole series, or of the story, or of the cliffhanger at least. Because I was kind of thinking to myself, okay, this cliffhanger we've got where Swarm and Azure have rocked up in the Division ship, they've killed off Tecteun, they've not killed off the Ood is still there, right? So, what if the Ood is the one that, like, just before Swarm can disintegrate the Doctor, the Ood rocks up and pushes his orb into Swarm or something and goes, hang on a minute, no, you're not going to do that, I'm going to stop you. Maybe? I don't know, maybe. Or maybe even longer term than that, the Ood will just stay in the background throughout the whole story, sort of like Lucy Saxon in the Series 3 finale, and then right at the end they'll just go and buzz Swarm or something and kill him off. And that's how Swarm will... I don't know. I'm only being half serious with that. I don't think the Ood is going to save the day, but you never know. I mean, it could do. Let's see what we've got in the chat about this though. We have got Chekhov's Ood, yeah, from Alex Ring. I love that. Solibray pointing out the story's already had a fair few Chekhov's guns, with Bell taking the Lupari ship, for instance. Yeah, I liked that. I liked how that played in last week. Obviously she'd taken the ship in episode 3 and we thought nothing of it really. But then it's slight contrivance in terms of how one of the Lupari ships just flew off for some reason, random reason, leaving a gap in the shell. But yeah, putting that aside, the slight contrivance of that, the fact that then it was her ship that was recalled to fill the gap, to plug the gap, which sort of brought her into the story and brought her into meeting Carvanista. I thought that was a neat idea. I thought I liked that. That was cool. Solibray. I guess now the Ood is the leader of the Division. I mean, that's another thing. Wild theory, but what if the Ood... Well, first of all, what if the Ood is someone important? I mean, probably not, but you never know. What if, it's Tecteun in disguise? What if the Tecteun that we've seen and met is just a hologram or something, or not the real Tecteun, and it's actually the Ood, where Tecteun wearing a mask as an Ood? Just throwing it out there. It's not going to be right, but that'd be pretty cool. If all of a sudden the Ood just pulled off his mask and was oh, it's Tecteun underneath, and then she sort of went to sort of not save the day, because Tecteun is a villain, but it would be a neat way to sort of bring her back into the story again, because I know a lot of people sort of wanted to see a bit more of her than we saw in last week's story. So there we go. I'll probably just actually, while I have a moment, I'm just going to share the link to this on Twitter just in case anyone else wants to join. So let's just do that. Talk amongst yourselves just for a moment. Currently live on YouTube to discuss Flux finale theories and Christmassy things. What am I going to put? let's just post a tweet there. And then I'll come back to the chat and see what suggestions we've got. Okay. Hashtag Doctor Who Flux. Let's just have a look then. Okay. So, so J Dragon Art Productions suggesting that the main function of the Ood was to sort of establish and continue this idea of Tecteun having colonialism undertones to what she's doing, which obviously we saw in Timeless Children when she nicked the Timeless Child in the first place, taking something that didn't belong to her and sort of appropriating it. We see that again with the Ood here, yeah, fair enough. And the whole thing about slavery, yeah, sort of using slaves and stuff, using things that don't belong to her. Yeah, I liked that. I like that, sorry. DW Boy 14 would like to see the Ood try and kill Swarm. Yeah, that'd be neat, wouldn't it? That'd be nice. Let's see that. Alex really thinks that, yeah, as fun as it would be for the Ood to kill Swarm, it would be a massive cop-out. I mean, I don't know if I think it was a cop-out, but I think it would be a bit ridiculous. Yeah, I can get behind that. I think it would be neat if the Ood was just in the background the whole time, then suddenly ended up being really important. Or maybe, not if the Ood saved the day, but if the Ood was just able to contribute in some way, with its telepathic abilities or something. I don't know. I just feel like maybe, okay, the Ood, it could have been anything. It could have been any type of creature, any alien. Obviously, it's in their interest to reuse, molds and masks and stuff and costumes that they've already got. But there could be a story reason too, for the fact that we've got an Ood here, a telepathic alien, a slave race alien, that ties into the whole Tecteun colonialism thing, on the one hand. There could be nothing more to it, or there could maybe be a bit more to it. Who knows? Solid Bray thinks the Lupari ship flying off could be explained. Okay, yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be cool. I hadn't thought of that, but I don't know. I'm not getting my hopes up with that, but it would be nice if, yeah. I think it would be nice in general if a load of things from Flux that we just not given a second thought to, from the previous 5 episodes, suddenly ended up being really important, little throwaway lines. Or I've often thought to myself that if Find the Doctor, if you remember that from a few months back, feels like an eternity ago, but I've often thought to myself, it would have been sort of neat if there were little clues in that for the series, particularly those voice messages between Yaz and the Doctor when they're mentioning the Hanging Gardens of Babylon or something, or I don't know, whatever they're mentioning, little things and places they've been and stuff. Would have been nice if there was a little hint there to Flux, something that gets picked up upon. That'd be nice, but yeah, it's not looking likely for that now with 1 episode to go. But it would have been nice. Yes, Alex Rooney talking about another one of the Chekhov's gun type things in this storyline. So the beacon that Vinda was given by the Doctor in Once Upon a Time, that hasn't been used since, hasn't been mentioned since. How's that going to tie into things? So if you don't remember, briefly recap, but the thing she gave him that was press 0, dial 0 or something, and we can keep in touch and we'll come to your rescue or something. We'll know where you are and we'll come and find you. Yeah, that's got to play into it. So I guess that is how, because where's Vinda? Vinda is in Passenger, isn't he? So I guess maybe he dials it from Passenger. Maybe, okay, he presses the button, it sends out a signal to the TARDIS or something, and that's how they know he's in Passenger, and that's how they get him out of Passenger, and Diane as well, conveniently. Maybe, don't know. But yeah, that's got to come up, hasn't it? It's got to come up. Yeah, lots of praise for Barbara Flynn in the chats as well, of course. So, yeah, I agree with a lot of the stuff that's been said there. So, let's look at something else. Dwell on the Ood. I mean, speaks for itself, really, this one, doesn't it? But, like, obviously, we're going to see the Doctor get her memories back. I've seen some people suggest that what we're going to see is, obviously, the fob watch does open, right? We've seen that in the trailer, and the Doctor is, like, subjected to some, like, thing, and, all these memories are revealed to her. I've seen it suggested that what's going to happen is the Doctor's going to get some of her memories back, or just, like, even, like, delve into it, take, like, a step into this, whatever, like, metaphorically, like a metaphorical step into recovering her memories, and then like to choose to step back and go, actually, no, I don't want the memories, I don't want to know, it doesn't matter to me, I don't need to know. And yeah, while that would sort of be a nice little message, like, okay, my past doesn't matter, I'm not going to obsess over it, I can't see them, like, going down that route myself. I think, quite clearly we are going to get some reveals about, I'm guessing, the fugitive Doctor and what she got up to. Maybe stuff that concerns Swarm and Azure as well. Maybe basically the events after the events of Once Upon a Time and the Siege of Atropos. We're going to learn what went wrong, because obviously as the not Vinda, but the person that Vinda was playing in that scenario said to the Doctor, complete this mission and you're going to be free of this. They said you can be free. They said you can, go off and leave the division after this. Clearly that didn't happen, because she's on the run from the division in Fugitive of the Judoon. So what went wrong there? What's the final chapter? I'm guessing that's where we're gonna dwell mostly. On sort of that grey area between, the Siege of Atropos, and Fugitive of the Judoon, and then possibly as well between Fugitive of the Judoon and then her becoming a child again and becoming William Hartnell. One thing I would love to see on that score is, like, more, whatever you want to call them, like timeless children, timeless doctors, Morbius doctors. Just throw at us a load of other incarnations, like even just very briefly, like in the Brain of Morbius, where you get all those faces of, like, the production staff, like Philip Hinchcliffe and Graham Harper and George Glacio, however you pronounce his last name, and all these people, Douglas Camfield. Do that again. I'm not necessarily saying it's got to be like Chris Chibnall in a wig and Matt Strevens in a wig and Vinay Patel in a hat and Maxine Alderson and whatever. I'm not necessarily saying you've got to have people from behind the scenes. But whatever the case, even if it was just like actors coming in for a cameo or just anyone really, I'd love to see that. Like, more faces, more incarnations. Not sort of in great detail, but just very fleetingly. Like, show us a montage, like bam, 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 all these different Doctors. I guess the slight problem with doing that is that you would then have to, like, you wouldn't be able to go back to those Doctors in the future because, like, the actors that played them would not necessarily be around anymore or be up for doing it or whatever. So you might be writing yourself into a corner slightly there. But that is something that I'd quite like to see, like more cameo Doctors, expand it a bit more, give us some more of those faces, like in The Timeless Children with those kids, when Tactine is experimenting on the Timeless Child, and we see the Timeless Child in that fantastic like rotating shot, just sort of regenerate into loads of different incarnations, just like that. Give us that, something like that. I'd like to see that. That'd be cool. Zoomed into his head there, that mistake. But look, I mean, apart from that, what is it going to be? What are we going to learn about the Doctor? Because clearly we're going to still have an air of mystery to some extent. But clearly as well, we are going to learn something. And it's presumably going to be something that we don't know already. It's presumably going to be something quite shocking and surprising. To be honest, I would put money on it sort of having something to do with Swarm and Azure, the Ravagers. Just because, it's going to be them that's revealing this information to the Doctor now, not Tecteun. So, I don't know, did she do something really bad to Swarm? But then it's such a cliche thing if that is it. Like, if that's all it is, I don't know, she just, stabbed Swarm or something. Or, shot him, or, I don't know. It would be a bit of an anticlimax. So, I'm in two minds. Because they could go down that route of doing that. Like, the Doctor did something really evil or really bad, or was forced into making this decision. And maybe something a bit like Vinder in episode 3, where Vinder, not exactly like that, but where Vinder has to stop the recording for the Grand Serpent. Maybe something like that, where the Doctor is forced to do something that she doesn't want to do, which paints her in a bad light, to us, the viewer especially. Sorry, move a bit. Get back into frame, there we go. But she was nevertheless forced to do, and so, finding out again now would be a bit problematic and make it go, I honestly don't know where they're going to go with it. I honestly don't know. Because, one of the things that's different this time, going into this finale, is, with the Timeless Children, there were rumours for literally months about, all these new Doctors. About there being, a whole cycle of female Doctors or something, which wasn't quite accurate, but it wasn't far off at the same time. They were all, leaked in the press and on Reddit, I think. There's a Reddit thread that you could go on back in 2020, in March or even beforehand, or February or whatever, where I just listed all these things that were essential to the plot of the Timeless Children, like the Death Particle, like the Lone Cyberman, these Timeless Doctors. It was all there. Whereas this time, we don't have that to go on. We don't have that to work from. So, it could literally be anything. But I haven't looked at the chat for a while, so let's just see what people are saying. Let's just see what people are saying. The Chibnall Doctor. Can we get Chris Chibnall in a wig? Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? RTD Moffat as well. Yes. That'd be fantastic. Doctor Master wants to see Chris Marshall, as a pre-Hartnell Doctor. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be funny. That'd be really funny if they got him in, just to do that. What else have we got? Lots going on. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Lots of chat about celebrity Doctors and cameos and stuff. Yeah, really cool. Really cool. Just a word as well, if you are watching this video and you're enjoying it, please do leave a like. That'd be nice. Got 35 viewers currently, I think, and 14 likes. So, yeah, if any of those other 20 people that are watching are enjoying, please leave a like. That'd be nice. Otherwise, let's move on to the Sontarans. Okay, the Sontarans. So, they're in it. As I don't think anyone quite foresaw this happening, but then again, it's kind of obvious because, they had the costumes, they used them in episode 2, it makes sense for them to use them again here. We had the exact same thing in Series 11 with the sniper bots from the Ghost Monument. They were in the second episode at the start of the series, and then they came back sort of just out of nowhere, really, in the Battle of Ramsgorov Kolos, through like a very vague connection where Tim Shaw was like, oh yeah, you know, or, I don't think it was even addressed on screen actually, was it? But or maybe it was, but very fleetingly. But like this idea that the Stenza like had those sniper bots made for them in the first place, so that was the reasoning. Bit sort of wishy-washy, but there we go. So they're going to be in the Williamson tunnels, obviously. They're going to be in the present day as well, and present day Earth. Kate Stewart is going to apparently be leading like the resistance of Sontarans or something, like resistance to the Sontarans, human resistance, something like that. So yeah, and presumably as well, she is going to like, you know, like end up, or either she's going to end up in 1904 through like one of the doors or something, or like something fluxy, and then meet Yaz and Dan and etc. Them lot, which is presumably what we're seeing here. They're either like reacting to Kate or to the Sontarans, but they're going to meet her presumably either in the past, or they're going to find a way back to the future, or maybe she's going to like show them a way back to the future. I mean, one interesting point is, how are they going to get the defeated again, the Sontarans? So last time we had this thing in War of the Sontarans where Carvanista basically just like rammed a load of spaceships into the Sontaran spaceships, and that was it. Which was, you know, it was alright, but they can't do that again, right? They can't do that again. So it'd be interesting to see how they get rid of them in the end, eventually. And one thought I had, you know, with all these villains, obviously we've got so many villains. I mean, let's go on to the Grand Serpent, who is here working with the Sontarans. We've got so many villains. We've got the Sontaran commander here, who I think is called Stenk, maybe? I don't know. I know that the Sontaran in Survivors of the Flux was called Stenk. Not sure if this is the same one or not, because they're all played by the same actor. You can't really tell. We've got him and his armies. We've got the Grand Serpent. We have got Swarm and Azure. That's like 4 villains, and then the Daleks and Cybermen, obviously, as well. So that's like 6 bad guys, or baddies, or whatever, or sets of bad guys to get rid of. So I wondered whether, for at least one of them, is the solution going to be Door 9 from the Williamson Tunnels that's been talked about loads, actually, in the last week or so. Like, I took it when I was watching it, and since I took that as a reference to the BBC comedy show, or comedy, if you can call it that. I haven't actually watched it, but heard lots about it. Inside Number 9 from Steve Pemberton, isn't it, and Reece Shearsmith. I took it as a reference to that and nothing more, because I think, as I understand it, the basic premise of that show is that it's an anthology thing, basically, and like the characters and locations change every week, but the one thing that stays constant is this idea of the house, or like whatever building, or the door like being number 9, that like recurs across all the episodes. So yeah, I basically just took it as a reference to that. But loads of people have been saying like, oh, what if Gallifrey is through Door 9? What if it's Door 9 because like Chris Eccleston? What if he's waiting there? What if it's like a reference to the fact that he said he's never going to return to the show? I don't know. I can't quite see it being that. Death, sir, endless death. Yes, solid Bray. But at the same time, I can see them like using that as a sort of get out of jail free card to dispatch of at least one of the villains at the episode's end. I can see that happening where, you know, like somehow, not that they necessarily force the villains into Door 9, but they're like, the Doctor is able to harness whatever is inside Door 9 and then sort of like use that to defeat the villains. I'm talking in very vague terms here. I don't know, really. But it just occurred to me that obviously, yeah, we've got this thing that's been set up, which is like, yeah, like deathly, like endless death, as Celebrate say, that endless death in Door 9. And obviously, yeah, presumably like that would be a good way, to get rid of like the villains and monsters and stuff. Because yeah, that's what you need to defeat a monster, a good dose of endless death. We've got recommendations from various people in the chats for Inside Number 9. Yeah, I do need to watch it. I'll get around to it probably in the new year. Yes, and then from... so I'm not going to try and pronounce the name, but the FFTUM SCHK, sorry, how do you manage to say that, reckons that the Grand Serpent is going to turn out to be the Master, or at least working for him. Yeah, this is another one, right? This guy. So many people have been saying, like, it's going to be the Master, or it's going to be someone important. I saw one person saying, could it be Rassilon? Look, I think he is just literally a guy, a new character. I don't think there's anything else to it. Literally nothing else to it than that. I think he's just a new villain. Yes, okay, I can see why people are thinking that, because he sort of came up out of nowhere. He was in, like, episode 3 as a fairly sort of one-note villain. Like, it was great, but like, it was fairly self-contained to that story. He didn't need to return. But then all of a sudden, it's like they've just like brought him back. Just, I don't know why. Like, what? Why did this guy, the villain that takes over UNIT, why did that need to be the same character as the character that essentially was like responsible for Vinder, like his whole imprisonment, whatever I call it that, but like, you know, basically like sending his life into ruin. Why are those two characters the same? Is there something bigger going on? People have been saying, because, like, you know, yeah, basically, you can see why people would jump to those conclusions. But yeah, I don't think so. I think it is just a new villain. I think it's just the way, purely by accident, really, the way that this character has been set up. And obviously the connection to UNIT as well doesn't help, because, you know, the Master has had this close relationship with UNIT over the years, hasn't he? And so I can see why people are thinking that. I can see why the episode would, like, possibly suggest that outcome. But I really do think there's nothing more to him. Like, it's a kind of I will eat my hat scenario right here if he ends up being anything special. Like, I'm sort of with the Grand Serpent. It's one of those things where, like, I love the character and what Craig Parkinson has done with him, but then at the same time, it is slightly curious how he has just appeared out of nowhere. He's suddenly being treated as like this massive big bad, who's like on par with the Master and all these other, you know, big bads from the show and Tecteun and whatever, and Swarm in his ear. He just sort of stepped in out of nowhere and sort of assumed that mantle. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see as well, you know, if he gets killed off or whatever in this story, or if he returns, or they leave the option for him to return. Because he's the kind of character that I think with, like, Big Finish and stuff, they could develop a lot more and be really good. But if his role is just literally limited to, like, these 3 episodes of Flux and then they kill him off and that's it, it's, like, a bit weird how he just appeared out of nowhere. He was an original villain who we'd never seen in the show before. He had all this authority and was treated like, you know, this big, massive villain, and then, oh, he's gone now, bye-bye, you know. Yeah, I'm not complaining, because I do like him, and I think he's a great new villain. I think It's what the show needs, like new villains, not just the same old villains over and over again. But at the same time, and this is sort of fed into this idea that, okay, there's perhaps more to him, there is just that sensation that at the back of your head that's just like, but is there something more to him? Like, why is this character being treated as someone who's so important? Long ramble there, but basically that's my opinion on that. But to go back to the original point, suggestion, if he had some sort of connection to the Master, like I don't think he is the Master or anything, but if he had a connection to the Master, if he was like working for the Master or working with the Master, yeah, I could sort of get behind that. Bernie has been working with the Sontarans, so it's like, how many people is he working with? So again, yeah, I don't really know how much I can get behind any of that, but let's just take a moment to look through the chats. And welcome to anyone who has joined recently as well. Great to have you with us. We're doing some speculation for tomorrow's finale, The Vanquishers. Yeah. Suggestion from J Dragon Arc Productions, which I've seen other people make as well, that when the Master said in The Timeless Children that to the Cybermasters, that little line of dialogue, that's the last thing we hear from him. Like literally his Gallifrey is being blown up. It's a line of dialogue that's like, let's put that quickly through here to the Cybermasters. What if that was like an instruction to go into the Williamson tunnels? What if that's where the Master and the Cybermasters ended up? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's difficult to know how significant the tunnels are going to be. I mean, presumably, there's so many different levels that they could do with it, right? They could just do, on your bare minimum level, is like the Williamson tunnels are basically, like cynically speaking here as well, just like a way to have like these magic gateways that enable characters to sort of meet each other and stuff, and to move between time zones, and like a little like handy plot contrivance to get Yaz and Dan and etc. back to the present day, or to have Kate meet them or whatever. It could just literally be that, where like they are just literally like tunnels for the characters to go through, like magic doors for the characters to go through, and then like meet each other and stuff. And that's literally all there is to it. Like, there's no significance to door number 9 or what's through them, or like literally the only like purpose they serve is to allow different characters from different time zones and stuff to interact with each other. So it could be that, or there could be more to it. You know, it could be that they are essential to how the Flux is defeated. Which would be neat, because it looks like the first thing we saw, like apart from the acid sea scene in Halloween Apocalypse, the very first thing we see after the title sequence is Joseph Williamson, is 1820s Liverpool. So it would be neat if if that ended up coming full circle in some way. And then there's the other level, of course, where it could be connected to other stories, like the Master and the Cybermasters in The Timeless Children. It could be connected to that, I guess, maybe. Or this thing like about Door Number 9 and Gallifrey, or I don't know. All these theories that have been going around, these mad theories. I don't know where I sit on all that, really. I think the cynical part of me is going, okay, it is just literally there as a plot device to like get characters where they need to be. But there could be more to it. I don't know. A few suggestions in the chat about who the Grand Serpent could be. So, we have the Doctor's father, Doctor's brother, the Rani, the Doctor's ex, River Song, the Doctor's third cousin, 3 times removed. The Doctor's third cousin, 3 times removed, Uncle's dad. So many things. Definitely the Doctor's jealous husband from the pre-Hartnell era getting revenge. Oh my god. Oh my god. I feel like I've missed loads of stuff in the chat. I'm very sorry. Let's just... Yeah. Alex Rooney. I really hope the Grand Serpent isn't the Master. I agree with you. I agree with you there. I agree with you. And yeah. Evan Marnie. The Grand Serpent is probably just a new character and he seems pretty cool. Yeah. Agree. But then, yeah, Stella Bray as well. He's just very masterly. Yeah, I can see. Like, I don't think they've made it easy for themselves. Like, they've kind of sort of either inadvertently or deliberately like encouraged all this speculation about him being the Master. They've made it very easy for people to read into that oh, he's the Master. You know, from how he behaves, from how he dresses to a certain extent, from his connection with the unit and stuff. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, J Art Productions, saying, I think if Grand Serpent is a pre-existing character, that'd be a shame. I prefer him being this political mastermind who's fled his destroyed planet to have a go at Earth now. Yeah, I like that too. I like that. So, I think... Got through all that now in the chat. The War Jericho. Grand Serpent is the War Jericho. He's the meddling monk's sugar baby. Oh dear. He's Graham's nan. Right, okay. Okay. That is enough of that for now. So. Let's now think about... What do we think about next? I think we'll go to these two. First of all, I guess, about Diane and Vinda, who are obviously both in Passenger, as established in previous episodes. First of all, why does the inside of Passenger look like a forest? Like, it's probably not important at all, or probably not, important. But, yeah, that's a little weird oddity there. It's just turned into a forest. Unless... Actually, they're not in Passenger at this point, unless maybe they've made their way out of Passenger and ended up in a forest. Because obviously he's pointing a gun at someone. Vinda's gun. And like Vinda's on the floor, so presumably he's been fallen over or something, or been attacked. And they're clearly facing off against someone here. So who's that going to be? Interesting. Who could it be? I don't know, really. I wouldn't say Storm and Azure, because they're going to be with the Doctor, I think. I guess it could be Passenger. But Passenger is a non-speaking role. Passenger hasn't spoken or done much at all, really, apart from just stand there and look intimidating. Could be a Sontaran, could be... I don't know that could be. But yeah, very much digging this whole idea of Diane having scores to settle with Storm and Azure, and it's an unlikely pairing, these two. But I'm interested to see what happens with it. And as I was sort of saying a bit earlier on at the start of the stream, some people might have missed this, but I was sort of thinking to myself, obviously with Vinda, he's going to be reunited with Belle. And that's going to be that. Okay, maybe the thing with their baby is going to come into it as well. Dare I say their baby is going to be the Timeless Child, as so many people have predicted. I really don't know where I sit on that one, actually. I really, really don't. I think I would like to see it happen just to, spite a load of people who are dead against it. I think it would just be funny, It would be funny to have the Doctor's parents revealed to us. But then I do get as well, seriously speaking, that, okay, it would be a bit weird for them to be the Doctor's parents, right? Yeah, it would be a bit weird. I get that. It would be funny. It would be a way to troll the fandom and to troll the viewer. But yeah, it's a sensitive subject. I get it. But then who is their baby going to be? Is it going to be someone important? It could literally just be no one, actually, the baby. It could literally just be a case of them getting back together, getting back home, having their baby, and that's the last thing we see of them. And the baby literally has no wider significance whatsoever. And it's just like a symbol of them like being together again and being happy and starting a family and stuff that they've not been able to do because they've been apart. And the baby's like their sort of reward, I guess, if you can call it that. Or like, not that, it's a bad way of phrasing it, but you know what I mean. It's like the natural progression and conclusion of their arc, where they're able to just sit down and settle down and have a kid and look after him or her or whatever. Let's just have a look at what we've got here, though. Bloodthirsty die on her way to kill an entire army of Sontarans. I like that a lot. That's an interesting point as well, actually. If like a point about that I hadn't thought about, that are these guys like, are they going to bump into the Sontarans, or are they going to keep those plot threads like completely separate? Are the Sontarans going to be limited to like just Kate and Yaz and Dan and Jericho and Joseph Williamson, and then maybe like Belle, Carvanista, Vinda and Diane are going to be like a separate thread to do with like Swarm and Azure? I don't know. Maybe like even with the Doctor. Is the Doctor going to face down against the Sontarans again? Or are all these other supporting characters gonna like save the day on her behalf? Is it going to be another case of the Doctor being like stuck in a room with someone who's telling her about her past, like in Timeless Children, and then it's all the other characters that sort of do all the running about and do the action stuff? I suppose that could be it. So maybe they won't meet the Sontarans, these guys. Maybe the Doctor won't meet the Sontarans. I don't know. We've got a comment in the chat. Doctor Master thinks that the gun that Vinda's gun, is the one that Jack used in The Empty Child the Doctor Dances repainted. I don't think it is. I'll double check, but I don't think it is. Because I think the one that Jack used was the Squareness gun. Wasn't it? It was this one. Whereas, that's not it. Unless I'm missing something here. But they're similar-ish. I get that. They're similar-ish. And that's the one that River Song used as well. What else have we got then? We have got Solibra making a very good point that Belle doesn't look like she's about to give birth anytime soon. Yeah, that's a good point. Like obviously she's still been like running around the universe, flying spaceships and wielding a gun and stuff and doing actiony stuff. Like she's not visibly pregnant. Yes, okay, I guess they could explain that away as like a spacey thing where like her race doesn't produce like baby bumps or anything. They just like, I don't know, the baby just comes out without any of that stuff happening. But yeah, I guess that's what I've been wondering as well. Like, clearly the baby isn't ready to come out yet, I don't think. So, and even if it was, even if we got to the stage where we have like a birth scene and the baby is born and it's all very nice and that's that. Even if that happens and the baby is the Timeless Child or someone significant, how then would we get to the stage of like the baby being Like, 'cause obviously it would have to join up the dots, wouldn't it, with like what's gone before. So we'd have to see the baby grow up and then end up underneath the monuments from the Timeless Children, where the Timeless Child was found. But for that to happen, we have to like skip forward. I don't know how many years. Like, how old was the Timeless Child when she was left there? Maybe like, I don't know. Help, like 7 maybe, or 8 or 9 or something. Like, I don't know, between like 5 or 6 and 10, I would guess, or maybe a bit older. I don't know. So we'd have to like see that happen, and it would just be really random because like how would they tie that in basically? How would they get to a point where there's a reason within the story to show Vinda and Belle giving birth? Yeah, okay, fine, but then just like randomly skip ahead however many years, like 6 years or something, or 7 or 8 or whatever, and have the thing about the monument and the boundary and the Timeless Child. I don't see how they could do that, which is like partially why I'm not quite buying that theory about the baby being the Timeless Child, because I don't get how that could happen really. Just Joe is saying maybe they age more somehow. Yeah, true. Maybe it's like Sky in the Sarah Jane Adventures, where the baby like ages 10 years in 5 seconds or something. You know, maybe. We've got a suggestion that Belle's people are an egg-laying species, like Kill the Moon. Yes, maybe an egg is laid. Maybe it hatches and the Timeless Child comes out. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, and also, of course, yes. So 2 Million Like Head is reminding me in the chat that into all of this we have to fit in Lungbarrow as well, the Doctor's ancestral home, which was glimpsed in War of the Sontarans. Was it glimpsed again last week? I know it was definitely in the Next Time trailer. I can't remember if it was in the episode. I think it might have been, maybe, when she was hearing all those voices to like... That was the equivalent of her sort of break the glass moment, where she was being tempted towards the fob watch, wasn't she? So yeah, how is that going to fit in? How? I mean, let's find it. Let's find it. I mean, let's just do let's do a Google search, image search for Doctor Who. Should we just do Doctor Who Lungbarrow and see if that comes up? See if the house from War of the Sontarans comes up. Let's do that. We've got that. Okay, not the house itself. Okay. Oh, there it is. Let's find a proper image of it though. So let's go to War of the Sontarans house. Yeah, just a brief aside. So Alex Rooney is saying that the shot that we saw, or the scene that we saw, filmed at the Albert Dock way back in March, whenever, he thinks that could be the final scene of the series. Yes, I 100% agree with you there. Back when it was being filmed, everybody assumed it was going to be like the end of episode 1, where Dan joins the TARDIS for the very first time. And I think even I speculated back before Flux starts. I was like, the Halloween Apocalypse is going to end on a cliffhanger. We knew that already. And I was kind of thinking to myself, okay, how is that going to work if that scene is like at the end of that episode? Because that scene isn't a cliffhanger scene, you know. So I sort of called it. I said, okay, could that scene be like from halfway through the series, where a bit like Arachnids in the UK, sorry. Bit like in that story where the fam only like officially joins the TARDIS at the end of that story, like 4 episodes into the season. Maybe we've got a similar thing going on here where that scene comes halfway through the series. And okay, I was sort of right, but a bit early there with my prediction, because clearly it's going to be in episode 6. It's going to be the final scene of the series. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's even like a controversial prediction to make. It just is. I'll be very surprised if that isn't the final scene of the series, or maybe we get a cliffhanger. I don't know if it's going to be a cliffhanger ending or not into the finale, into the special. Sorry, but yeah, it's going to be near the end, I think. Yeah. So yes, it wasn't Survivors of the Flux for just a moment. So, it's this house. This looks really big, sort of high resolution photos of it, but we'll just have to settle for a low res image, I think. Oh dear, this is awful. It's really bad quality, but anyway, it's there, which is what matters. So, what is this? What is it? What is it? Final predictions. I mean, joking aside, so the lung barrow thing, very briefly, if you don't know, lung barrow was the Doctor's ancestral home in the Virgin New Adventures novels from the 90s, which are sort of in that grey area where they could be canon, they could not. It's like it's never been confirmed on TV or anything. So we have that. And this could be what we're seeing here, but equally it could not. It could be something completely different. It could be like at the most boring level, it could be like just a representation of something, like a representation of the Doctor's hidden memories, like being just out of reach, like that shot from War of the Sontarans where she's like reaching towards the house and the door is open and she can't quite reach it in time. It could just be a metaphor for the fact that like these memories have been out of reach for so long, and just it could just be that. Which would sort of make sense because, look, this isn't a set that we're seeing here. This is a CGI render of a haunted house. Basically, haunted house. I mean, so I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Are we going to go inside the house? Are we going to like transition from this shot into an actual set of the house's interior? Did something significant like happen inside this house? Is it where the Doctor grew up, was born? I don't know. It's dangerous territory, isn't it? I guess to sort of go into any of that in any great depth. Yeah, I really don't know. Let's have a look in the comments, chat. Sorry, let's see what people are saying. Yeah, very good point from. I'm just gonna call you F. Sorry, because that's your your profile pic. Very good point from you. So he says, well, they say, sorry, the Flux house being Larry Barrow. I'll read that. A lot of people thought that the Doctor's prison in The Timeless Children was gonna be Sharda and in Revolution of the Daleks as well. But that was a red herring. Yeah, very good point. I mean, I think with that, they sort of left it open. They sort of left it open where, like, it could be Sharda, or, like, there was nothing to suggest that it was Sharda, but at the same time, like, if you wanted to read into it that it was Sharda, you could do. Like, without, there wasn't anything to contradict that, basically. And perhaps we've got a similar thing here where they're showing us a house and the house could be Lung Barrow, but they're not going to commit to it on screen. They're not going to say the word Lung Barrow. Yeah, I could kind of see them doing that, to be honest. I could see them doing that. It's just, I don't know. Like, there's got to be more to this. There's got to be something. I feel like we've got to go inside the house. I feel like that's got to be like something that's definitely got to happen. Where we're going to go inside the house, and there's going to be something in there, or someone, or something happened there, or maybe like, I don't know, maybe it was once in really good condition, and then it's ended up like this, and the whole like point will be, how is the house ended up being so derelict? What happened to it? I guess as well, like, why is it floating there in midair? I really don't know with that one, to be honest. It's such, like, the way they left it, it's such a vague thing. I don't know. Let's see what people are saying. Doctor Master, it's the house in which Tecteun looked after the timeless child. Maybe. But then, like, she had the laboratory, didn't she? In the timeless children, in the flashbacks, and the laboratory didn't really look much like this. Maybe. Other suggestions, sorry, let's just go quickly. Just Joe, it's a metaphor, but inspired by Lumbarrow, yeah, fair enough. Alex Rooney, maybe we get into the memory sequence in the fob watch, and she goes into the house and gets delivered memories. Yes, maybe. Yeah, I think that, I mean, could it be like a TARDIS or something, you know? Or maybe it's going to be something that, like, once looked very different, and, like, that's how they get around the CGI thing. Because obviously the Doctor can't interact with something that is CGI. You know, you need a set, like a physical door to open. And I suppose they could build that door in the studio and, like, you know, but it would be a bit weird because this has just been like a CGI house. But what it could be is like a TARDIS or something which has changed appearance or has got more derelict over the years, you know, has ended up like this, or the architecture has sort of leaked, you know, like with a faulty TARDIS or something. So, yeah, maybe something like that. I don't know. It'd just be interesting to see how they explain it, to be honest. Because, like, we've only ever seen this house we've only seen it once, in a vision, experienced by the Doctor. So, like, are they going to get some exposition about that? Like, is Swan going to go, oh yeah, by the way, this house that you keep seeing, it's this. I can't quite get my head around how it's going to work. But, hey, you know. That's that. So, what have we not talked about? We've sort of touched on Vinda and Belle. Belle is nowhere to be seen in these promo pics, which is a bit weird. Or Carvanista, actually. Shame. Hopefully we'll get some pics of them after the episode's been released. We've talked about this dude. We've got Jericho, haven't we, to talk about? Well, basically, these four we haven't talked about yet. Yeah, okay. This whole thing as well about how it's going to be the day this episode's broadcast, like tomorrow, is going to be the end of the universe, basically. So yeah, that's something to look forward to tomorrow. End of the universe. So with Jericho, look, he's in a Sontaran ship here, and also in this one as well. And he's holding a Sontaran, like, blaster there. So perhaps this is once he's, like, broken free from whatever equipment he's wearing in this one. Like, perhaps they've imprisoned him. And, like, what are they doing? Are they, like, trying to read his mind or something? There's a shot in the trailer as well of Claire in this, like, similar predicament with a headset thing, and it's like, number one, how is she back? Is it just Claire? Like, has the angel let go of her now? Or is it the angel in human form? Not sure. Maybe they're just doing, like, a simple, like, mind probey thing where it's like, oh yeah, we're going to read your mind and like, you know, gather information about what you've been up to, all this intel you've been finding in the past about the universe ending and stuff, and the 5th of December, maybe. Could be that. Yeah, and then like, yeah, maybe breaks free and this happens. I don't know. But then beyond him, like, it's literally just Yaz and Dan, isn't it? See Yaz there, and Williamson as well. Funny how to see how he sort of gets left off at the end of the series. Got Yaz in her very awesome hats, and Dan also in his very awesome hat. God, that face there is like. So how are they gonna get left off at the end of this series? We're obviously going to get some sort of reunion between the Doctor and Yaz at some point, and some moment of the Doctor sort of outpouring to Yaz about all this stuff that she's been keeping quiet about, and all these secrets she's been keeping. And hopefully that'll allow them to then have a more open and sort of friendly relationship going forward into the specials, which would be cool to see. But, yeah. I mean, they're both sticking around, obviously. Yaz, like, we've had this thing about her becoming more like the Doctor, but I don't necessarily think that's going to go anywhere, particularly. Certainly not like a Clara moment where she goes too far or anything. And then with Dan, again, we know he's in the specials. And, like, I don't know. Like, yeah, he's not going to leave the TARDIS at the end of this story. But he is going to go home for that scene of the TARDIS at the Royal Albert Dock. He's maybe going to have that moment where he sort of joins the TARDIS more officially, in official capacity. And clearly with Diane as well, there's got to be something there. Like, as I was saying near the start of this stream, which some people might have missed, with Diane, you know, like, clearly they're not gonna kill her off or anything. She's gonna survive. She's gonna get back with Dan, and they're gonna go on their sort of date thing. That's not quite a date, but sort of is a date, but isn't. On the corner of Lark Lane, and yeah, I don't know. Clearly, like with Diane, like, I guess the fact that she's in passenger and she's holding a gun, it's not going to be the sort of thing from like the RTD era, where the companions, like friends and family, don't know about all this spacey stuff. She's going to be clued into all that, you know. So presumably Dan will be able to talk openly with her about the fact that he's been travelling with the Doctor, and going forward as well, he'll be able to talk openly about that with her. But like, as far as we know, she doesn't join the TARDIS and come along with him. You know, so he's still going to be travelling with the Doctor into the specials, and he's going to make that decision. But Diane isn't going to come with him, and so I guess there's going to be that moment there of sort of, basically what I'm saying is, their relationship, I don't think is going to be wrapped up entirely by the end of this story. I think they're going to go on their date thing. They're going to have their drinks, Halloween drinks, a few months late, and then just leave it at that, you know, of them still being friends, maybe. And then maybe they'll end up, like, as lovers eventually in the specials or whatever. Or, yeah, I don't know. What I can't see happening is them, like, clearly, like, getting married or something, or moving in with each other, or, like, I can't see, for whatever reason, it's going to happen that Diane isn't enough of a sort of a pull to keep Dan on Earth full time. Like, okay, he'll still see her, you know, he'll still go on dates with her or whatever. Maybe their relationship will like develop in subsequent episodes. But yeah, in terms of where we leave it at the end of this story, I think quite clearly it's going to be in a place where yes, they're still friends, and yes, they're, you know, sort of together, but like they're not at that stage yet of it being enough of a pull to keep Dan on Earth. Like maybe that's how I'll eventually leave the TARDIS, like to go and marry Di or something. Yeah, let's see what the chat's saying about this. The suit will bring Dan back to life. Oh, that's interesting from Doctor Master. So Doctor Master is suggesting that everybody except for Dan, the Doctor, Yaz, Jericho, Claire and Kate will forget that the flux will have ever happened to them. Like the year that never was in the Series 3 finale. Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's making me think as well that obviously there's been loads of rumours from the thing with Tactian and the Division about this whole multiverse thing, moving into a new universe. And perhaps in a similar vein to that suggestion, we're going to end the series with the original universe being destroyed or being rebooted or something, and we're going to move into the new universe for like the specials and going forward, and so maybe he has to like start from scratch with Di or something. I don't know, maybe something like that. I saw a suggestion as well, I think it was from Dr. Master, about Jericho ending up in the 21st century. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? I can't quite work out what's going to happen with him. Because like his house in Medicine was like destroyed, or like his home village was taken. Not home village, his village where he lives was taken at time. Quantum, whatever it was called in Village of the Angels, quantum something or other. Quantum extraction. And then the army moved in, didn't they? The army moved in to sort of like take over Medicine, and so presumably Medicine is not somewhere that Professor Jericho will be able to go back to. And like presumably his house was destroyed or taken over, destroyed by the Angels, or taken over by the units and the army or whatever. So I guess maybe he is going to settle elsewhere in another time or year or something. Maybe they are going to stick him in the 21st century. Because to leave him in the past again in 1904 would be a bit rubbish, because he'd be like having to live through the world wars again, which obviously he was very scarred by. So that's not something that I can see them doing. So, yeah, I don't know. Lots of interest as to whether I wear vests or not in the chat. I don't know quite where that's come from. But anyway, no, I don't wear vests. I don't wear vests. I like the suggestion from Doctor Master that in the final episode for this Doctor and for this era, that we might see Dan and Di's wedding in a similar vein to Donna in the End of Time. That'd be nice. So I think that's everything. I mean, Carvanista as well. There aren't any images of him from this episode, so let's just go back and find an old one. There we go. Loads of speculation that Big Furry Dog Boy is going to get killed off. Like, he's going to sacrifice himself to save Dan. Maybe. I mean, that's the other thing as well, that okay, Dan has had these two very important people in his life. He's had Di and he's had Carvanista. And, you know, read into the Dan Vanista shipping or whatever the hell you like. I'm not going to go there now. But when I say, like, two important people, I mean, like, you know, the romantic interest, Diane, and then Carvanista as well, his like protector. And so in terms of where they end off with him, like, I don't know, if Carvanista does survive, I don't know, the whole thing with Dan, like maybe maybe he will just like fly back off into space and sort of keep an eye on Dan from time to time. Maybe that's how they'll close it off. But basically, yeah, Dan can't move in with Diane and Carvanista, you know. So one of them's got to go. One of them's got to go. Or maybe they can find a way to make it work. I don't know. Maybe Carvanista will be their pet, or like their housemate or something. I don't know. So let's just have a little moment. We've covered all of that now. Covered all that lovely stuff. Let's just find a lovely photo of Jodie just to fill the screen while... There we go. While we just have this little transition. So, okie dokie. Our viewers are starting to drop off as well, I think, a little bit as well. We have been going for like an hour and a half now. So, let's just quickly move on, I think, very briefly, if people are still up for it. Move on to the wish list thing, Christmas list thing. Just have a quick rundown through that. We'll have a look at all the products that are on sale. All the different things that you could add to your Doctor Who list this year, this Christmas. We'll have a look at the bits that I'm interested in, and we'll discuss a few bits and pieces as well, and just see what everybody else thinks of them. I'll post the link to this as well in the chat in case anyone else wants to play around with it. Very good feature. Great site, the Doctor Who site, merchandise guide. So yeah, well worth your time. But anyway, let's have a look. Let's go through this list, see what's on offer this year. So, toys and figures, first of all. Always a very exciting section. And this year has sort of been no exception. We've had all this stuff from B&M in the way of like 5-inch figures and stuff. All classic era stuff. There's a whole other debate, to be honest, but I wish Character would make some new series stuff. It would be very nice, wouldn't it? Like some stuff from Flux, Series 12, Joe Martin, Doctor, Sacha Dhawan, Master. It would be nice. It's nice to have the things we've got here. And I think particularly actually these Daleks look quite nice next to each other. Like, now that we have 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 all released, they look quite nice. These 60s aliens as well have been great. And obviously we've got the 5th Doctor 3-packs, the 2 5th Doctor 3-packs to look forward to. The 1st Doctor TARDIS as well. Good luck to anyone trying to get hold of that 2nd Doctor TARDIS now. Well, actually, I say that. I think I did see them on eBay the other day for like 50 quid or something, which is like £10 more than they were at the time. So they don't seem to be too hard to get hold of. Let's just double check, shall we, how much you're looking at. 80 quid, double the price. What have we got here? The TARDIS by itself for 40 quid, 65. Yeah, it's doable. You can still probably get hold of them. 55 if you really, really want to and you missed out. But yeah, so I've already got the first wave of sets. So for me, and the 2nd Doctor TARDIS, obviously. So for me, the 1st Doctor TARDIS, that's the priority, that one. And then I'm sort of drawn to these History of the Daleks set 8 as well, these ones from Planet of the Daleks, which I wasn't at all at the time. But now it's been revealed that they have this little feature where you can lift up their domes and this little sticker underneath that shows the Dalek mutant. That's a really cool feature. So I'm very tempted to pick those up now. And then obviously we've got Evil of the Daleks as well, which isn't as sort of essential. I'll probably get it when it's reduced, maybe. And then the two 3-packs. 5 Doctors is a pretty essential one. The Earthshock one, not so much. I mean, that little Cyberman bomb, do quite like that. But the androids and the 5th Doctor himself, you know, take them or leave them, really. They're okay. They're nice enough for what they are. But yeah. So that's figures. That's figures. Oh, and these guys as well, the Bobble Daleks. I really want them. Yeah, like, when they were announced from Big Chief back whenever it was, wasn't really interested. And then when they started to appear in B&M, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to end up picking these up, aren't I? Because they're in B&M and they're cheap and whatever. And yeah, they're nice enough. I have seen them in the flesh in Forbidden Planet, but they were 20 quid there rather than 15, which is what they are at B&M. So I didn't pick them up. But yeah, whenever I see them in B&M, pardon me, sorry, some water. Whenever I see them in B&M, I will be picking those up. Yeah, because they're cool. They're cool. So that's figures and toys and stuff. Doctor Master has them and can recommend them. I've got them on their birthday cake this year. Oh, fantastic! And then now in their room. That's fantastic. Yeah, I like them. I think I'll like them as well once I've got them as well. So yeah, gift ideas. Okay, some more now in sort of novelty stuff. So we've got the Children in Need bears, which I didn't realise these were still available. Actually, God, you can order like 100 of these. Mad. Bonkers. Okay. But yeah, you can get them of the 4th Doctor and of the 11th Doctor. So probably not something that I'm interested in myself, but they are pretty neat. I'll give them that. You know, if space was no object, I'd probably get those. There are bits and pieces here from, like, Forbidden Planet have been doing episodic collections for every episode of Flux, I believe. But I don't think they've put every single thing on here. So there's the War of Sontarans t-shirt. That was the one for Halloween Apocalypse. And they've basically like made this artwork and made it available on mugs, on prints, on t-shirts, all that sort of stuff. So there's one for Carbonista, Halloween Apocalypse. But this one for the Sontarans, and there's some other ones as well, but they're not on the list here. You can also get this Flux hoodie from Zavi, which has just sort of appeared out of nowhere. T-shirt as well. Right off the bat, by the way, as well, if you are going to buy one of these, let's just pretend that we were doing so. If you were going to buy one of these, hold on, let's take that out of the basket. Then you could use the code RichardLloyd20 and you could get 20% off any clothing on Zavi. So that's something to know. But yeah, Flux hoodie, nice enough, I suppose. It's black with a print on the front, so it's nothing special really. But you know, if you like that sort of thing, then it's there. Yeah, Doctor Master is saying that they regret not buying a 13th Doctor Pudsey Bear. I sort of regret that as well, I have to say. Yeah, because I don't know how easy they are to get hold of these days, the ones I did last year, the 13th Doctor and the 10th Doctor, but yeah, they've clearly been replaced this year. They're not doing reruns of those. So that's sad. Never mind. So we have got a board game, some jigsaw puzzles. I'm quite tempted by these actually. I mean, that one in particular, that's quite nice. That puzzle of all the Doctors. I'm tempted by that. That's only a tenner. And if you were going to buy anything else on Zavi that wasn't an item of clothing, you can use the code RichardLloyd10 and get 10% off. So that's something to bear in mind as well. Yeah, I might put that on the list actually. And you can also get one of the 13th Doctor and the fam. Again, actually, that's a nice image. That's a nice image. Yeah, I'm tempted by that. I'm tempted. But I'll stick to just that one for now. So, we have got next up. These bits are from Forbidden Planet as well. They're just sort of highlights, bits and pieces. They're not everything. But you can basically get a load of stuff, like pin badges from them, key rings, coasters. They've been doing various designs. Like there were some for the different incarnations of the Master. There's been some Riversong stuff, where you can get like a pin badge of Riversong's diary and like a Riversong, I don't know, keyring or something. All these different things. And to see, these are some of the most recent ones. They've got Sarah Jane, her like Owl Teddy as a badge, Happiness Patrol TARDIS as a badge, some monster badges, some TARDIS badges as well, Sarah Jane mug. These are interesting. Some Christmas decorations of the Fourth Doctor and the TARDIS. Which are American, I believe, but they're quite cool looking. Damaged box, that's not very good. Yeah, these are all US listings, aren't they? But I saw someone post some photos of one of these recently. I think it has lights and maybe sounds as well, and it looks pretty cool. So, yeah. If they're available in the UK, I might be tempted, but alas, they are not. And also, just reading the chat, sorry. Also, the now infamous Hero Collector Eagle Moss Advent Calendar, which, contains 24 gifts, as you would expect. And, yeah, it's sort of like deluxe Advent Calendar, as you can tell from the price tag. And it's not actually worth this much anymore like other places. If you go on to Eagle Moss itself, the makers of this Advent Calendar, you can actually get it for £77, and then with 30% off currently as well. With a promo code, you can get it for about £54, which is half the retail price. So, because obviously we're now in December, so it's going to be cheaper. Because they want to get rid of them, because they're not really relevant anymore. So, yeah. I'm sort of tempted by this. But I'm also sort of in the situation, where I'm like thinking to myself, well, how low is it going to go? And I can sort of afford to wait and see how low it's going to go, because these aren't going anywhere. They've clearly still got stock of them. So it's like a case really of waiting and seeing, and maybe, I don't know, are these going to be like £40 one day or £30 or I don't know. They're probably not going to be any cheaper than £30 or £40. But you never know. In the bargain bin come January the 1st. So yeah, I would like to get one of these one day. But it's also the case of where I would put it, because it's quite a big item, I think. And like, yeah, I don't know. It would be nice. I'm going to stick it on the list. Yeah, Doctor Master, £50 what you'd pay. Yeah. Yeah, as I say, that's what it currently is. It's £54 or thereabouts with the promo code, which runs till Monday, I believe. And yeah, free delivery as well, so not too bad depending on which way you look at it, really. I mean, the stuff in there is pretty nice. It's pretty nice stuff. So yeah, JJ Art Productions, £55 divided by 24 is £2.50 per item, thereabouts, which isn't bad. It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad at all, really. So I don't know. I might get that while it's discounted. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. DVD and Blu-ray now. So, season 17 is going on the list. I haven't pre-ordered that yet, but I will be picking it up. Released in a few weeks, in time for Christmas, unless it gets delayed again. Season 24, is that still available? Am I still available? No. Yeah, it is. I did not know that. And then the standard editions of all the other ones as well, if you've missed out on the other ones, the original limited edition versions. And then we have the animations from the 60s. So Galaxy 4, the most recent one, The Leave of the Daleks from September, and What of Fear from August or July, whenever it was. Got Web of Fear, got Leave of the Daleks, but haven't watched it yet. But Galaxy 4 is one that I am looking to get hold of fairly soon. Just whenever I feel like it, really. So that is going to go on to the list. Books. None of these really tempt me, to be honest. I put the calendar on there as well, so I'll stick it on. The annual as well, obviously. It's a must. Maybe this The Long Game book from 10 Acre Films. This looks quite interesting. It's like an independent publishing company, and it's basically about how Doctor Who was brought back from the dead in 2003 when it was announced that the revival was happening. So yeah, I'll stick it on as well. Might as well. I mean, I'm not actually going to give this list to anybody or anything, but it's just a nice little hypothetical look at which items I'm interested in. Big Finish. No, I'm not really fussed about any of this, to be honest. I've got the Ninth Doctor box sets already. Dalek Universe, they've stuck on there as well, and obviously there's other stuff, loads of other output from Big Finish that's not on this list. We have a recommendation for The Long Game in the chat. Thank you, J Dragonark Productions. Thank you. I'll perhaps put that up at some point. See how long we've been going for now. Nearly 2 hours. Okay. This isn't going to go any longer than 2 hours. We're going to end at I don't know, 25 to maybe, or sometime around then. Yeah. Personally, none of this really takes my fancy, and the audio readings of the Target books as well. Again, if it's for you, then fair enough, but not for me. Now, Eagle Moss, another collectibles and things. I am tempted by this Revolution of the Daleks set, especially since it's now coming up to a year since that story was broadcast. So I'm getting a bit nostalgic, to be honest, for that story and how it felt this time last year in the run-up to that story. And I have also been collecting a lot of the 13th Doctor era figurines lately as well, as they've been on sale, and that would be a great one to pick up as well. Although I probably will wait until it's reduced a bit in whichever next sale it happens to be in, because Eagle Moss are always doing sales. Big Chief Studios 13th Doctor, it would be lovely to have one of these, but never going to happen. And to be honest, I can't really justify the price. Even if I was paying for it myself and had the money for it, and just, I don't know. Same thing for these, to be honest. These mega figures from Eagle Moss. This Dalek, which is how big is it? 23 centimeters tall. Is that right? Width by height? I don't know. It's big anyway. If I had the space and the money for that, that'd be nice. But alas, not going to be happening. And there we go. That's everything. That's everything. So yeah, that is all of the things that I'm interested in from this year's list. Yeah. Cool. I might take a screenshot of that and share it to Twitter or something. just for fun. But yeah, if you want to have a play around with this, then it's great fun. I've stuck the link in the chat. It's in the description as well for this video, and it's well worth your time. So do go and check that out, and tick off, what you'd like. Very fun indeed. So let's start winding down now. Stick Jodie back up there again. So it is 25 past. We've been going for how long now? An hour and 50 minutes. Okay, let's end the stream now then. So thanks a lot for joining me this evening. Hope the 20 of you that are still around are still still enjoying the stream and have had fun. I'm now getting a bit thirsty and tired, so but it's the way it's going to be, isn't it? So yeah, it's been good fun doing this, good fun, and the one last week as well, and so I think I will do more of these in the future. It's particularly helpful and useful if I've run out of time to do like any other videos and just do a stream instead. And it's nice to have the interaction with people as well. That's been cool, and to hear all your theories and what you've got to say about the finale tomorrow, and to have that chance to do that. So that's been great. So I will end the stream there. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you're new to the channel, I don't suppose you will be if you're watching this, but if you are, please subscribe, please leave a like, and also if you're watching it back as well, which again, you're probably not, but you might be, so yeah, you might be. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye. I will try my best, Solid Brain, not to get lost in the Williamson tunnels in the meantime. And also just a word tomorrow. So I am able to watch the episode live tomorrow, but I won't be able to do a review straight away. But it should hopefully be up, like an initial reaction thing should hopefully up like before midnight or whatever tomorrow. We'll play that one by ear. But yeah, that'll be something. And obviously very exciting. So yeah, enjoy the episode tomorrow, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining me tonight. Thanks a lot for watching. And yeah, goodbye.